What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we're going to take a look at Mr. Bisignano. He is the new Social Security Commissioner, and he did an interview with Fox Business, and I want to show you this. Now, I'm probably going to have to break this up into at least two parts because it's a pretty long interview, and I have a lot to say about some of the different answers that were given with regards to Social Security. We're going to go ahead and watch this. And you guys remember, if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, leave it in the comments below. You can also send me an email, david@thetecshow.com.
Now is the boss at Social Security, the U.S. Social Security Administration Commissioner, Frank Bisignano. Frank, it's great to have you.
It's great to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. And we so appreciate you talking to us about this speculation. Have you uncovered fraud? What have you uncovered so far at the Social Security Administration?
All right. This is it. This is the million-dollar question. Now listen to how he answers this. And you tell me if you think that they found waste, fraud, and abuse. Listen to this.
I think, as the president had said, our books and records were not very good. And that's the source of fraud.
Okay, so he's saying the books weren't that good, and that's the source of fraud. But have you found any fraud? It could be a source, but have you found the fraud?
And that fraud can travel through the ecosystem. It's much bigger than just Social Security payments. As I've said before, you know, having our books and records, right? The amount of people that were not alive, that did not show on the system as dead, was outstanding. Millions and millions.
That's unbelievable.
And that is a source of potential for fraud.
Okay. That is a source for the potential for fraud. But where's the fraud? Did you find any fraud? That's what we want to know.
So, you know, as you always like to say, you want to keep your books and records completely straight, because when they're not, it's opportunity for error, opportunity for fraud. It's also one of the reasons the department would report a 1% error rate by any payment company. That would be 5 decimals to the right instead of where it is.
And
so
you've done so much in the payments industry.
Okay, so the 1%, that's what he's talking about, which is not that much. Okay, when they're talking about waste, fraud, and abuse, the 1%, that's all they have. And that information came out last year. Okay, that's not information that was uncovered by DOJ. And so you see what I'm saying here when it comes to the waste, fraud, and abuse. You'll have politicians out there saying, yes, waste, fraud, and abuse, that's what we're going after. But they're not telling us where's the waste, fraud, and abuse. Where is it within the Social Security Administration? You have the commissioner, the Social Security Commissioner right there telling you that they really haven't found anything. Because you know if they found something, he would have put that out there. He didn't put it out there. What he said is, if the books aren't right, then that could be an opportunity for fraud. An opportunity for fraud and actual fraud, they're not the same thing. And so that just shows you when it comes to what's going on here, and when we're hearing the waste, fraud, and abuse, they're just saying waste, fraud, and abuse just so they can kind of have their way with the information. Because no one is really going to say, well, no, I don't want you to find waste, fraud, and abuse. Everybody's going to say, yeah, I want you to find waste, fraud, and abuse, but you have to deliver. Because we are paying we're paying DOJ. DOJ is getting paid. They're not doing it for free. So we're paying them, but are they finding the waste, fraud, and abuse? Okay, and I'm mainly talking about Social Security. They might find waste, fraud, and abuse in some other areas. Yeah, that's fine. I'm mainly focused on Social Security, and they have not found much waste, fraud, and abuse. They haven't talked about it. We don't know any more information when it comes to waste, fraud, and abuse. So what's really going on? Okay, let's hear some more. Here we go.
You've made the point in the past that having a Social Security number is so critical. So we don't know if those people who Elon Musk and the DOJ team told us they were on the rolls of being 150 years old, 160 years old. We don't know if they actually accepted Social Security benefits and accepted money, but we do know that they may have had a Social Security number.
yes.
So tell us about that.
I mean, the work that DOJ did was 100% accurate. They were identifying opportunity for fraud, and they still.
And he keeps saying opportunity. They were identifying opportunity for fraud. No, they weren't telling us that. They were telling us they were finding fraud. They said that Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. They said that it's probably the biggest Ponzi scheme or the biggest scam that they've ever seen. That's what they were saying about Social Security. They weren't just talking about opportunities for fraud. They were actually talking about fraud.
End up being a tremendous resource for us. And, partnering with Doge has been tremendously valuable, even in my first few days here. And it's really about data integrity. That Social Security number, and I keep saying it, travels through the whole ecosystem, right? Every element, everywhere you go, people want to understand the Social Security number. If that Social Security number is still alive in the system, it has the opportunity for fraud. So we've worked really hard. I think people have done tremendous work at getting much higher data integrity. We've definitely found things that are not good, but I view it as out of adversity comes opportunity. The opportunity to eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse. The president was 100% right. He had it early, and he knew what he saw, and he used the information. And I plan on running a much tighter ship here.
Well, what about that? What are they doing with a Social Security number? Because we've got reports that illegal migrants came into the country. They were given Social Security numbers. How does that happen? And once you have a Social Security number, what can you get?
Well, you could go all the way. You could go all the way with a Social Security number from, Medicare, Medicaid, voter registration, licenses, everything, and a Social Security card is a pretty big ticket. Now, it doesn't take a large number on a percent basis, right, to be a big problem here in the United States. So I've moved all the way to the front of the process. How do we not give people Social Security numbers unless they should have them? And how do we retire them, make them ineligible when they're no longer eligible? So
under the Biden administration, we had all these people coming in who were unvetted and unchecked. That's what I want to get your take on. How is it possible that they came into the country? We knew that they were not legal citizens, and yet they were still able to get a Social Security number?
Well, yeah, because they would get a ticket coming in many times, the first 1,500 or whatever the number a day was. And then they can apply for work. And, now that doesn't mean they were going to get a Social Security payment at the end.
Right.
But it availed them to a number. And, it's highly possible not all of them were good actors at all.
And then they could apply for Medicare, apply for Medicaid, apply for all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
In Social Security. I got you.
Okay, so we're going to stop it there. And I have a lot to say about what that dialogue right there, because a lot of it was not true. So when it comes to Social Security, yes, if you're a U.S. citizen, you're able to get a Social Security card. If you come in and let's say you have the ability to work, so you're coming here legally, you have your legal documentation, you can apply for a Social Security card. However, that card is only for work purposes. And let me tell you how that's a benefit. And he kind of alluded to it. You get that Social Security card, and guess what? When you start working, you have to pay FICA. So now you're contributing to Social Security. But guess what? Most of those people will not collect Social Security because some of them will go back home, or some of them, they won't reach, they won't have the number of points that they need. And so this is a way to not only collect FICA, but also have these people pay taxes. And so that money is going to the government. That's why they're getting these Social Security cards, but the Social Security card is only for that purpose. It's strictly for them to actually work, because if they didn't have a Social Security number, then they would not be allowed to work. They're legally here. They have the documents that they need to legally be here, but they wouldn't be able to work. And so to allow them to work, that's why they have the special Social Security card. I'll put one up on the screen so you'll see what it looks like, but it is not an official Social Security card that you can use for a variety of different things, different programs and stuff like that. So this actually benefits the fact that they're receiving these Social Security cards, these immigrants receiving the Social Security cards. It actually benefits people who are receiving Social Security benefits because that's more money coming in from FICA. That's more money going to the program. And a lot of the people who are earning that money, the immigrants, they're not going to see Social Security. And he mentioned that they're not going to see Social Security. And so we have to be clear. We have to understand exactly what's going on. And when we're listening to politicians, certain news outlets, they're not giving us the information that we need. And that's unfortunate because that's really their job, to let us know what's going on. They represent us. But, unfortunately, we get a lot of stuff that's just not right. A lot of information out there is just not right. I mean, the way that, if you watch this interview, the way that they were going back and forth when it comes to Social Security, you would think that there's only one Social Security card and everybody's getting that same Social Security card. But there's a different one if you're an immigrant than if you're a U.S. citizen. And that's what they should have explained. But they didn't explain it. Now, one thing that he did talk about, and I want to go back to, he was talking about the fact that, people on the books, Social Security numbers. I agree 100% when it comes to that. You do need to delete those numbers so they can't be used any longer. Because yes, if you have someone on the books for 150 years, there is, as you stated, an opportunity, but I want to know how much fraud actually took place, which we're still not hearing that. But there is that opportunity because you have a Social Security number that's out there that someone could use that, of a person that's already passed away. So when it's situations like that, yes, they do need to purge those numbers, definitely. And I don't think it would be hard to do that. I don't know why this is like a big deal. It should be pretty easy to purge numbers. I'm just thinking, look, you got the Social Security Administration. You have all these different government agencies. I work for a government agency on the county level. And honestly, we're pretty slow to do things when it comes to technology and things like that. And so, and it's mainly because the money, we don't have the money. When you're working in these federal government agencies, you're working government agencies, period, you generally don't have the funding that a private company will have because you have a budget every year. And it's just, it's not as easy to make those changes. And so maybe that's just why they haven't moved forward and went ahead and purged all these numbers. But we shouldn't really still be hearing about this because in January and February, they were talking about people 150 years old receiving Social Security, or let's just say having a Social Security number still active. So why haven't they purged them yet? Why are we still talking about this now? And so I just wanted to show you this clip. I'll do another video. Because this interview went on for a little bit. So we'll take a look at some of the other things that were said. But yeah, pretty interesting. This is the new Social Security Commissioner. Is he going to be good for Social Security? We're going to have to see. I mean, only time will tell. But right now, I think there are certain areas where he should have actually corrected the interviewer and said, no, the Social Security numbers are different, stuff like that. You need to make corrections on that. So people aren't thinking that it's just one Social Security card that's going out to everyone. He also didn't talk about the new method. They're going to have digital Social Security numbers now. So that could help when it comes to fraud and stuff like that. So anyway, if you guys have questions, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.